with the YA snake that was on like 10 different books that year. And they also create like, oops, there's a snake, there's like ribbon. Well, I don't want to fuck the Hero of Ages, but you get what I mean. Anyway, so, you know, hands down, this is a very, very pretty book, but angels, welcome back to another video. My name is Ro and today we are doing the Loki Book Tag. So this tag was created by Eric from Break Even Books, who I for some reason have only discovered recently, despite him being one of the only guys on BookTube. You guys should go check him out. Make sure that you look in the description because I will put the original video and the to his channel, so make sure you check that out before you watch me going through this tag. You guys know from seeing me upload that I love Marvel, so when I saw this tag I just had to do it straight away, although I am doing it straight away from seeing it, but I don't know when this is going to be uploaded, so a bit of an asterisk there. So the first prompt is Mischief, and that is to find a book with a mischievous character. I kind of struggled with this because I couldn't really think very well, but in the end I went with The Hogfather by Terry Pratchett. This is one of the like cloth-bound editions of the Discworld, and yeah, the Discworld in general to me just screams like mischief. I don't know in particular who is mischievous in this book, but Death as a character is kind of mischievous, I think, personally. I've only ever watched the film. I do want to get to the book. I do want to collect all of the books and read all of them. I've only ever read A Colour of Magic and The Light Fantastic, and I've seen the Hogfather film, obviously. It was one of my favourites when I was younger, hence why I bought this one kind of first as a christening for like buying these editions. But yeah, if anyone has not read the Discworld or doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about, first of all, where have you been? Terry Pratchett is like one of the greatest fantasy writers of all time. He wrote Good Omens with Neil Gaiman, if that helps jog anyone's memory. But the Discworld is essentially a kind of a whole universe that has lots of different stories in between and just set in the same world, but not necessarily sequels to each other. And Death is a recurring character in the Discworld, and he's quite funny. And in this, they have the Hogfather instead of like Santa Claus, and the Hogfather goes missing, Death has to get involved, there's like an assassin, Death's granddaughter doesn't want to be involved, but she gets involved, and it's just really good. Genuinely one of my favourite childhood films. I actually would like to watch it at Christmas. I keep forgetting to like watch it at Christmas because it's technically a Christmas film. If anyone has never got into the Discworld, they will be at your library if you're interested. This is really going off track, but yeah, Discworld. The second prompt is variant 1, and I think Eric said to pick variant 1 or variant 2, but I'm going to do both because I can. And variant 1 is to pick a series that has like different versions of stuff, or like different versions of the books. So for this I went with the Wayfarers series because I have the first two in paperback. Oh my god, look at that. Oh my god, I didn't know that was floppy. Oh, the first one, not so much. But I have these signed, dedicated to me from Yalk, and I forgot that I had these signed and dedicated to me. But I have the first two in paperback. I have the third one in just a normal hardback. That's really nice end papers, Jesus Christ. And then I have the fourth one in a special edition, and the end papers again. Good lord. They're gorgeous. This is the Fairy Loot edition of the fourth one. I have lots of different forms of this series, so I think that's what variant 1 is about. And then the next prompt, which is variant 2, is to show a book series or a book that you have multiple editions of. So I don't have multiple editions of the Wayfarer series, I just have different ones. But for this I chose two different ones because I wanted to show off the one book that I own the most of, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is the US edition. I got it because it came with a print, which is on my shelf. It does have a little signed book plate as well, which is cute. And I just really like the cover in general. I think it's really sleek, really nice looking. But it took me about, it came out on my birthday actually. It came out on my 23rd birthday. So October 6th, 2020 it came out, and I only read it this month. So that means it took me about 10 months to read this book. And the whole time, I had several editions of it. So I have the Illumicrate version that came in their October box, which has black glittery sprayed edges, a black and white cover, which is different. I think it also has, yeah, that under the cover. Also unique end papers, like all the editions of this are incredible. This isn't signed, which is, oh no, it isn't. It is signed. So I've got the US, Illumicrate, and then we have Waterstones, which is like yellow instead of normal, and yellow or goldy-ish sprayed edges, which they're kind of glittery, but not really. Some unique end papers. They are different to the Illumicrate ones, even though they look very similar. This is also signed. So there's this one, which is Waterstones. And then also we have the normal, oh wait, no, this is the Forbidden Planet. This is the Forbidden Planet version, which is all blue. You can see the blue foiling, and the writing is light blue as well, blue sprayed edges. Again, under the cover like that, beautiful, and also unique end papers as well. And again, signed. So I ended up giving this 4 stars when I read it, but I still want to keep all the editions because I like the editions. Oh, and then this has also got a different design on the cover. So yeah, I think this one fits variant 2 quite well. Quite a few editions of it. I hate how small English or UK hardbacks are though, because if you look at these compared to the size of this, well, it doesn't work, but I just much prefer big hardbacks like this. So that's like my main one for variant 1, but I did also want to show off, because this is Eric's favourite series, that I do have the Fairy Loot editions of Red Rising. And these are like just naked hardbacks, foil, sprayed edges, yeah, signed by Pierce Brown. And they also create like, oops, the scythe, like the Reaper's scythe on the spines, which is really fucking cool. I do also have the Barnes & Noble special edition of Red Rising, because I knew a guy in uni with me who was from America, and he brought it back for me because I asked him to when he went away for summer and then came back. It's a little bit beaten up, but I can't remember why that is, but this is the exclusive edition. Yep, signed again. So I've got that one, and I just have a normal hardback of Iron Gold, because why not? I don't think any special editions came out other than Goldsboro, so. And then I also have the Illumicrate Dark Age, which looks fucking incredible. Pretty sure this is signed, yeah. Signed with the YA snake that was on like 10 different books that year. And then I do have some really beat up paperbacks that I lend out to people to read. I have not reread these ones for a while. I think I read them first time, but I read Iron Gold and Dark Age on audio, so when I went to reread the first 3 of these, I reread them on audio as well, and I really love the audio book. So yeah, that's just me completely showing off. Red Rising is the series that I really want to collect more of, and then Addie LaRue is just stupid, me being stupid and buying too many editions. The next prompt is Prune, and that is to show a book that you have recently got rid of or are planning to get rid of. Thankfully for me, I recently did an unhaul but have not got rid of them yet. But for this, I'm choosing A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, or The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, because it was just bad. This is not good. It's way too long. It takes way too long to get anywhere. I don't like the characters. Nothing made any sense. There's a snake, there's like ribbon. I read this quite quickly last summer in lockdown. I was just outside in the sun reading it, and although I read it quickly, I think that was because I knew the world already, and I did actually like the first like third of it. The last 2/3 were just so stupid. So I don't see the point in this taking up room on my shelf, even though I've got the 10th anniversary paperbacks of Hunger Games, and I've got like an anniversary hardback in a slipcase of it, and like this would go along with the collection kind of thing. I feel like it's taking up space on my shelf because it's not good. I'm never gonna reread it. I gave it like 2 stars. It's gotta go. The next prompt is Enchantment, so a book that put you under a spell or that you could not put down. And for this, I am choosing Docile by K.M. Sparra. This was incredible. If it's not obvious, I gave it 5 stars, but I read it all essentially in one day. I could have if I wanted to, but I got a head start the night before and read like 90 pages in like an hour. And then the next day on sprints, it was like a Sunday, and I absolutely devoured this in like 5 sprints then. It was so good. I couldn't put it down. I didn't know like what was going to happen next. I was so intrigued, and I just realised that I haven't talked a single thing about any of the plots of these books. I don't think I need to. Docile, I've talked about a lot. Wayfarers, I feel like everyone knows what it is. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, everyone knows what that is. Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, everyone knows what that is. This is an adult dystopian that has a lot of trigger warnings, so please look up the trigger warnings before you go into it, but it is really, really incredible. I have talked about this a lot on my channel, so go look at Goodreads, because I feel like regular watchers are going to get a bit bored of me talking about the same books all the time. I don't read a lot of adult dystopian. I feel like there's not enough out there, personally. Like, that is like this anyway. Like, this is straight up my street, right up my alley, whatever the fuck I say. But yeah, I think everyone should read this, given that you won't get triggered by anything. Docile. The next prompt is Timekeepers, so a book or series that stands the test of time. And to no one's surprise, I am picking Sabriel by Garth Nix. I also have the really pretty like new cover. So if anyone wanted to buy it, this is the cover that's currently out, and it's very pretty. And it has like the, like, even though it's a paperback, it has a dust jacket type thing, and then there's the map. And there's the bells that she uses. Incredible. Anyway, this one is signed as well because I met him. I'm literally just showing off my collection at this point. But Sabriel is my favourite book of all time. It's been my like online handle for gaming and stuff for years. Sabriel is literally my favourite fantasy book. I want to reread it in coming up to November because there's a new book coming out in the world. I don't think it's a direct sequel, but it's like it's called Tyrstil and Eleanor, and it's set in the same world, which is the Old Kingdom. Sabriel is like classic fantasy. Came out the year I was born, so it's definitely stood the test of time, I personally think. It's about Sabriel, who is the daughter of the Abhorsen, and the Abhorsen has these bells, and each one does like a different thing, but it's mainly to put the dead back to rest, to like stop them rising. And there's like 7 gates, and like behind the last gate there's worse entities, and behind the first gate there's like not so bad entities, and there's like a river, and that's like on another plane. Oh, it's just really incredible. And Sabriel, basically her father goes missing. She has to take up the mantle of the Abhorsen and also try and find him, basically. But there's a talking cat, which is a demon that has been leashed into the form of a cat. It's so good. It's really, really classic, really, really good YA that kind of reads older as well. Like, I read this in like primary school, even though it's kind of like, I'd say maybe age 14, 15, I don't know. Ages are weird on books. But if anyone hasn't read this and you want to get to know me, it's so short, like I would recommend it. I think it's a bit hit or miss with some people. Like, some people like Garth Nix, some people don't. But for me, it is a classic, and you can't go wrong. The next prompt is Asgard, and that is to find a book that has royalty or godlike figures. And for this, I am picking Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, which I haven't read yet, but I'm really, really intrigued by, because it talks about people like ascending to godhood, but then being like trapped in a certain place. I don't know any more than that, and I don't want to. But if they're touched by like the Sheod or something, in the Cosmere, the Sheod and like how you get powers and stuff is like kind of all linked. And Warbreaker, I've been told, is one that you should read before reading Stormlight Archive, because there's quite a few like links and things. I'm really, really intrigued to read this. I'm not letting myself read anything by Brandon Sanderson until I've finished fucking Hero of Ages. Well, I don't want to fuck the Hero of Ages, but you get what I mean. I need to finish that book before I move on to anything else. Even though I technically could start like Stormlight Archive because it's a separate series, I don't want to. I want to make myself finish Hero of Ages. I've just not been wanting to pick it up. I read like 5% of it on my Kindle, and even though it starts out really explosive, I've just not been in the mood. But yeah, Warbreaker, I am very, very intrigued by. I've got it on audiobook as well, so it'll be interesting to see if I like the narrator. I must have liked the sample enough to pick it up, but we shall see. The next prompt is Daggers, and that is to find a book that cut you deep or like made you emotional. And I think it'll come to no surprise to people that I'm picking House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This book made me cry a lot. And for this, I did have a couple of options. I was going to pick maybe Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden, because I read that recently. The House in the Cerulean Sea really was like my top book of last year because it made me so emotional. And to be fair, like, to be honest, it doesn't happen a lot. I don't cry a lot in books. So this making me cry more than once and making me very emotional. And I was very emotional even when I didn't actually shed a tear. It was just emotional all throughout. This is about a guy who lives in a world where magical people exist, and he is kind of like a caseworker for orphans, specifically magical orphans, and he has to go to the house in the Cerulean Sea to kind of just check it out, scope it out, see if the kids are doing all right, basically see if it should be shut down kind of thing, if they're following regulations. The twist is that at this orphanage, the kids there are some of the most dangerous kids in the world. So it kind of goes from there. It goes from Linus, the main character, kind of going through an emotional journey of like finding happiness in his life, like not being so judgmental, not being on the sidelines, not just letting things go past him kind of thing. It is a very, hits close to home with like people who are on a 9-to-5 job kind of thing and just breezing through life and not really thinking about anything or enjoying life, and you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. So there's a lot of that in this book, which is obviously quite hits home for quite a lot of people. So yeah, this made me very emotional. I'd highly recommend it. I'm really, really hoping that Illumicrate do special editions of this and Under the Whispering Door, because I think they might announce it soon. Because they said they were going to do a author with 2 standalones or something like that, and also that they've only just got a UK publisher, and this has only just got a UK publisher. The very last prompt is Illusion, and that is a book that you bought because the cover was really pretty, but it ended up being really bad. Now, for this I was actually going to pick Girls of Paper and Fire, but now that I remember, I didn't pick that for its cover. I picked it for it being sapphic. So I kind of want to go with... Let me just get it. I think I'm gonna go with The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. This technically doesn't really fit it either because this is a Fairy Loot book, so I didn't buy it for the cover, but I buy Fairy Loot for it having pretty editions, so I feel like that kind of counts. So they have the brand new cover. It was blue, they've made it purple, they've got sprayed edges, and they've got that under the cover, and then the art on the back. So, you know, hands down, this is a very, very pretty book, but I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was not very good at all for the first 300 pages. The last 100 pages did pick up, which made it a 3-star, but if it wasn't for that last bit, it would have been a 2-star. It's not good. This is about a girl who is in a prison, and she is the prison healer. She got like arrested when she was younger with her dad for like treason or whatever. The whole book, nothing much really happens. The premise is that the rebel queen gets kind of put there, she gets captured, and then the prison healer gets a note to say like, keep her alive, we're coming, and this and that. Like her family's coming to get her. So she's like, okay, I have to keep this bitch alive. And then she has to go through like the trials of ordeal or something like that. But it's like trial by fire, trial by earth, all that shit. And the trials are really boring. Trials is my favourite trope, and it really, really let me down. The trials were really spread out, and like nothing happened for like 80 pages after the first trial. The only good things about this were the plot twists near the end, which I didn't get. And my brain is kind of quite, I don't want to say cynical, I don't know what quite the word is, but I will assume with like a YA book like this that the first thing that pops into my mind is probably going to happen. And it happens a lot where the first thing I predict is what happens. And I'm sure you guys get what I mean. But with this, genuinely a lot happened that I didn't expect near the end. So that did like bump it up again, like I said, but it does not make up for the absolute shit show of the first 300 pages. I have bought the sequel, but I'm really, really hoping that because it'll be in a different setting and not at the fucking prison, that it'll be better. We'll see. That's it for this video, my loves. Thank you so much to Eric for making this tag. It was a lot of fun. I feel like the prompts were really, really well done and well thought out. Remember everyone to check him out in the description. His channel will be there, and the video as well, the original video for you to check out. Please, if you like this video, do give it a like, make sure you subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave me a comment if you have read any of these books. If you don't like any of these books, do you agree with some of my picks? And also, if you don't feel like leaving a comment or you feel like you have nothing to say, just drop an emoji in the comments. Don't mind which one. You could pick a purple heart if you want. That'll be good. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye!